Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And then back, I said I would talk more about this YWC situation with Jimmy Snuka and Chris Benoit. You know, and how do these two relate to each other? Well, the argument from the YWC is this: Chris Benoit committed murder. These are the people willing to admit it, or they're just saying that this is what everybody else believes. Still, a lot of YWCers out there, or YWC Benoit supporters, that believe that Benoit didn't commit murder. They believe he was framed. They believe he was framed by Kevin Sullivan. For God fucking sakes, what the hell is wrong with people? Kevin Sullivan pulling in a random fucking innocent man, just pulling him, out of their ass basically, and saying that this is the guy who committed the murder. What the fuck does Kevin Sullivan have to do with all the fucking tea in China? For God's sakes. Jimmy Snuka, he murdered his girlfriend, and it was pretty fucking obvious in the 80s based on the evidence. Now, they kept this story quiet for a long time. I wasn't even very aware of it. I was born in 87, so I don't know fucking anything about the story, basically. All I know is that there was, like, fucking blunt force trauma to her head. That he obviously beat her the fuck up and, killed her because there was too much fucking trauma to her body. And basically, he wasn't convicted yet. And people were saying that Snuka shouldn't have been inducted into the Hall of Fame based on those allegations. But nothing was proven. And that's how it goes. As I said, in the U.S. court system, you're innocent until proven guilty. Now, on the other hand, with Benoit, as I said, he's fucking dead. He killed himself. So there's no way that he could even defend himself. It was pretty fucking obvious. You know, and the funny thing is this, it's like Benoit killed himself and there was signs at the crime scene instantly identifying him as the killer. It wasn't like something weird or anything. Benoit was framed. Yeah, who the fuck would want to frame Chris Benoit? Who would want to frame a shitty ass fucking wrestler? Who would want to do that? Who wakes up in the morning and says, Chris Benoit, how would anybody benefit from this? Now I could see arguments with, like, Kurt Cobain and stuff like that, where there might be some shady stuff going on, like the shotgun wound doesn't add up. I'm even into looking at things like that at times. But, with a story like Chris Benoit, it's what you would call an open shut case. It's pretty fucking obvious. People are getting their arguments and listing in big, huge comments, big paragraph comments, multiple paragraph comments about how they feel and why they feel their crack brains, just fucking crackpot theories. Here on YouTube, there's a guy called Alex Jones who I used to be a fan of. Until one day, when I was watching his videos, I fucking realized that this is a lot of fucking nonsense with no proof. Basically, this guy Alex Jones, he comes up with a lot of harebrained theories. Things might be true with, the government trying to take over and all that, but all he does is fucking speculate. And when he does, cite a source, it's his own fucking news site, Infowars. So I like to think of Chris Benoit supporters as a bunch of little Alex Joneses all fucking running around. And I used to be a pretty big fan of Alex Jones until I fucking woke up and smelled the fucking coffee. And I realized that the coffee smelled like a big fucking pile of shit because it smelled rancid. It smelled like something was wrong, and I knew what was wrong. It was that he was a big fucking liar, and this whole big fucking thing was a big huge performance where he pretends to cry on his show. He pretends to be emotional. He's a fucking actor, you know, and it's all just a bunch of fucking bullshit. And that's basically how it is with all these Chris Benoit arguments. It's harebrained theories. Nothing makes sense. They say the murder doesn't make sense. And how does it not make sense? Walk me through this. I have yet to see a comment where people are actually, were you at the crime scene? Did you see everything? Did you see Benoit's body? Did you see the bodies of the people he fucking killed? And then you also see people saying that his son wasn't mentally handicapped. Where the fuck was the proof behind this? Where did you even see any of the proof to prove that he wasn't mentally retarded? Now, yes, I am happy now that WWE is cutting ties with Jimmy Snuka. That's the right thing to do. Should he have been inducted into the Hall of Fame? Not fully supportive of that, but at the time in 2004, I wasn't even aware. Was that the year he was inducted? I even fucking forget. I wasn't even really aware of the murder at that time, and people weren't even talking about it. But the difference is with Benoit, this was a cold-blooded murder where he killed himself, and it looked a lot worse. So to compare these two things is mind-numbing to me. The Snuka thing was never proved. The Benoit thing was instantly proved. So I don't even see where this is a comparison. Now, if I could step outside, logical Brad's brain for a minute and think in illogical YWC fucking retard, terms, mindsets or whatever, I could kind of see where people are coming from on this. Snuka, kind of like O.J. Simpson, it was kind of obvious that he killed somebody, but it wasn't proven. But yet, so WWE can't rightfully accuse them of that because that's how it works here in the U.S. of A. Whether you like it or not, you are innocent until proven guilty. And if it's not 100% proven that you are not the murderer, then you can't be properly accused. And that's how it goes. Whether you like it or not, that's how it works. Now, in the case with Chris Benoit, he was guilty right there. I mean, it wasn't even like he could be accused of being guilty because he was fucking dead, which made it look 10 times even worse. The fact that he committed suicide, which is actually, for some reason, considered to be illegal by the U.S. court system. It's illegal to kill yourself, but you can't be charged with anything unless they charge your corpse. But anyway, so it looks 10 times fucking worse as opposed to a guy who wasn't even, convicted of the murder. So the comparison, I'm sorry, it doesn't hold up in an argument. And pretty much what it all boils down to is this. Everybody who supports Benoit tries everything in their power to prove that he's innocent. They don't want to believe that he would kill. And the thing is, this stuff happens all the time. Celebrities commit murders throughout history. It's happened. People do this. Sometimes they go fucking nuts, and and we have to accept this. I mean, it's very unhealthy not to accept the reality, and that is reality of Benoit killing his family and himself. You can't just make up stories. That not only makes you dishonest, it makes you look stupid. It makes you look like an embarrassment. An embarrassment to people with fucking normal functioning brains. I mean, if you see a news story where all the evidence is pointing to Benoit being guilty and there's no real reason besides you being a super fan of him that would indicate that he would be innocent. That is your argument. You're a fan of Benoit. I can see it now. You weren't walking to a court of law. Oh, now this random member of the YWC, please approach the bench. Put your hand on a copy of PWI, and and you'll be sworn in. Oh yeah, I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the wrestling truth. All right, so tell your side of the story. Why is Benoit innocent? Remember, might I remind you, you're under oath. Well, I'll tell you, son, Judge. Let me tell you something. Benoit is innocent because I'm a fan of him, and he was a great technical wrestler. Something, you would probably get your ass thrown into contempt. They'd probably fucking not only do that, but then try to get you thrown into a fucking mental institution. Defending a guy because you're a fan of him. The fuck is this? I mean, you just don't defend somebody because you're a fan of them. The thing is, once Benoit committed a murder, I liked Benoit. Was he a good wrestler when he was alive? No doubt about it. The guy was involved in some legendary matches. And at the WrestleMania 20, for example, the guy won the world title. He was also involved in Orton's first title win. But, once he did what he did, he had to be erased from history. That's how it goes. I mean, you know how that looks to have a guy involved in your company that heavenly. What would you do? Well, I know a lot of you would promote Benoit. You would put his face on a billboard, but that's not how a multi-million-dollar company works. They're not gonna promote a fucking murderer. That's not how it goes in reality. You have to realize, outside of your deranged wrestling world, Benoit is a killer. And I fully support everything that WWE has done. They have been a class act when it comes to Benoit. How offensive would it be? Everybody getting offended in this world right now. I would be offended if Benoit was promoted and made to be this big star, this great legend. That would not look good at all. That would look so shitty for WWE to be promoting a murderer. That and I said that is reality right there. So there you go. There's my arguments, which make 100% fucking sense, and I don't really care what you fucking say. Go ahead, post your comments, post your defenses of Benoit. I see some, people just going fucking nuts every single which way and still not making any sense. If you're gonna make a comment and an argument, for God's sakes, bring up a good point. Leave your Kevin Sullivan comments at home. Post what you want, but for God's sakes, if you're gonna make an argument against me that Benoit is guilty and there's no way you could fucking do, and that is it, because there is no defense. That's why nobody has yet to post it. But go ahead, give me your best shot. Just in conclusion, I want to say you can't compare the two incidents. They're incomparable. Um, yeah, Snuka is guilty, and so is Benoit. And if they want to yank Snook out of the Hall of Fame, I would support that. But Benoit will never, ever in a million years, if you want him to be in the Hall of Fame so much, why don't you put some money into opening up your own fucking Hall of Fame, your own Hall of Shame, your Hall of fucking goofball disgraces. Anyway, Benoit continues to rot in hell, motherfuckers.